Hello everyone, my name is Willam Martinez. I'm work for Avantica Technologies, and I also the president of the freshly new Iasa Costa Rican chapter. And I'll be in the Iasa World Summit in December talking about the evolution game. Let me tell you a little bit about this presentation. Basically, the idea is we all know what an architect is and what an architecture is, right? The architect is that guy that sits in front of a computer and needs to create a system, and then starts imagining all the I don't know, the data flow, the workflow, the processes, and then makes a design, and then stops thinking about architecture and start writing code, right? Well, that's not really true. Basically, architecture is far more than a design. Architecture is not a plain design or something that you document into white pages and then start coding and forget about it. Basically, architecture is the organization or the structure of a system that is alive. As soon as you start thinking about it, it starts becoming a reality. And when the system is working, it is still, I will say the word right now, evolving and growing, and in some cases dying. So architecture or the actual process of architecting for an architect is kind of an owning the architecture of that process, of that structure, of organization and all the communication. So at the end you may have a system, and the system has an architecture, this organization and structure I'm talking about, that is alive. The problem is that system, is that the structure, is that organization the right one for your organization? What happens if you build something that is not quite right for your organization? What happens? Well, there is a lot of things that is going to be happening. I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of a negative experience here, problems, difficulties. Can you hear me, Elizabeth?
Yes, I can hear you. You were cutting out a little bit, but I can still hear you.
Okay, let me go back. Okay. Okay. If you have a system that is not quite correct or well designed for your organization, for your needs, then you start having these kind of symptoms, something that you overheard when you are working on your office, and it says something just yells out and say, hey, there is a new expert coming. We need to train him on the system. And then the question is, wait a minute. If I'm an expert on something, why, and the system that I'm going to be using is a system that was built to help me work on what I know, or what I'm an expert of, then why should I need to be trained? It's kind of didn't I already know, since I'm an expert? Do I know everything that I need to know to work within my domain? If I'm if I come from accounting and I'm working on accounting and the system is an accounting system, then why should I need to be trained? There's something different, a new concept, a new anything that I have to learn in this new system in order to use when I'm something that I'm expert on. That's kind of a weird. The other one is when I hear someone saying, hey, get me IT. We need someone that knows how the process is going, someone that can explain how the process should go, what are the steps. Wait a minute, is that an IT process or is that a business process? Is that is business thing, well, there is some things that any process in the business should go through. So what IT? Why don't we call an expert? Oh, the problem is that the steps the expert know are different to the actual steps that we have to go through in the IT system. And that's a problem. What about this one? Sorry. Okay, honey, I'm late for dinner. We got a new system. I always thought that systems came to the company to help us, to make us make our job easier, faster, cleaner, with more precision. But if I got a new system and the system is slowing us down and the system requires us to be careful with the data, be careful with a lot of other things, or the new system is forcing us to learn new things and to learn how to do what I've been doing all my life in a different way, then we have a problem. And this nice chart is the hard work of John, who got all the data and put it into Excel. Wait a minute. And this chart is needed for the system, needed for decision making and decision taking, and to drive the actual business direction. So how come if I need this chart and if I need this information, how come that is John the one that is getting all manually and putting it into Excel to draw it? That's not quite good if I think that I'm paying a lot of architects and software engineers and a lot of people to create a system that will help me. So is the system really delivering? At the end, we will start looking at shadows. Shadow is a concept that we get from organization theory. Actually, when we're planning an organization, we say, okay, this is the structure. We have a chief. We have these communication lines. We have these people that is reporting to these other people. And at the end, when you start working on that organization, when that organization comes alive, you start seeing that there are some reports that are not official, that are coming from one office to the other one, phone calls, on other communication lines, and some new roles that were not there. So at the end, what we have is a nice design of a structure, but in the back, we got a shadow, and that shadow has some differences. There are some new things that were not in the original design. There are other things that were designed with 3 points, and at the end, you see 5 points on it. And we got then some other things that nobody's using, or someone is using it, but there is no real value on that. It's just we're adding information to that module because that's the step. Nobody is going to use that information from that module. It's not being used at all. So what the module is there? We can stop feeding the module and it will die and nobody will care. That's a shadow architecture, as the same as a shadow organization. And we all see it every day in our companies. When we go and, okay, where is this chart coming? Well, that chart is being generated by in Paul's machine because he has all the data that is being collected. Why is not that process in a system? Why are some of the components of the system not being used or not being actually adding value to the actual organization? So shadow analysis and shadow research of what's happening and how to measure that and what are the causes. There's a little bit done about that, but that is something that will help us to know that the system is not something that we design and build and that's it. It's not written on stone. It's alive and it will be evolving and will be some components can be mutable and some others will die, some new ones will be born. So that's something that we should think about when we talk about evolution. So the evolution game is actually that. You have a life system that you should take care of. And that life system is going to be evolving. And a lot of things that you have in a system, like components and communication and organization and all the stuff, when it is starting to operate and the actual value is needed, then the users will start to work on their own domains to get the information from the system. Working on a domain is very important. That means that I know something about accounting, the other guys know something about loans, and they are experts on those topics. They don't want to become experts on IT. They want to become experts on computers. So the system should deliver all the process and all the value on the domain using the same domain currency. we shouldn't be forcing the domain. That is one topic that I'll be talking about in the actual presentation. So we will see some variations on the system. Some components will change. Some other components will not be used as they are designed. There will be combinations. Probably data from one component and data from the other component will be merged into an Excel file to produce a chart that the system should be producing. Probably at design time, that chart was not really needed. But since we are starting to work and getting more needs and the actual duration of the company is going from one side to the other one, probably that chart makes sense. And then the actual people that needs to actually make the company grow and go forward, they start to make all those combinations. And of course, there are a lot of selection. A natural selection where some components won't be used and the other ones will be born, and probably something that is being collected in one computer. When that hard drive fails, everyone says, oops, we have a problem, we have all the data in that computer, probably we should make an upgrade and make that manual process that John was doing, make it into a component in the system and make it part of the official system. Well, that's all about evolution. Basically, there are a series of steps, strategies to study what the shadow architecture is, how to deal with it, how to deal with selection, how to spot combinations, and how to work with domains. And all the stuff we'll be talking in the IWS. So see you at the IWS. Look for me, I'll be there. And we can start sharing about how to make the evolution game work and